Let's look at the debtors reconciliation question here. So the question reads, the information below relates to Aramis traders. For the period ending 30 June 2022, the business uses a markup of 40% on the cost price on all goods sold. Required. Prepare the correct debtors control account for June, considering all the errors and omissions. Show all your calculations in brackets and balance your account. And then 1.2 says prepare the correct debtors list for June 2022. So I'm going to do these two questions together. So they work together. The debtors control account and the debtors list. Here, they actually give you a debtors control account and they also give you a debtors list. So I'm going to use this debtors control account to fill in the debtors control account on our answer sheet. So it's given. So this is very nice. So the format is there. So for the 1st of June, we're going to write in our balance. So I'm just going to rewrite all of the details that we have here. Okay, so I just rewrote all the information there. Now, the first thing, before I even read my adjustments, I'm going to open all the balances. So the balance for my debtors control account, I'm going to write in, okay, I don't have space. So I'm going to write my balance in brackets here, 216, 210, because I don't have space here underneath. Then sales, I'm going to open with this amount over there. So sales, 310, 920. Then bank and refund is 600. So let's open it. Okay, I don't have space. And then journal debits over there is 1820. So I'm going to open it here, 1820. No, let me not close it. Then bank and discount allowed. So I'm going to write it on top here, 124, 380. Then debtors allowance from the DAJ, debtors allowance journal, 580. And then journal credits over there, 1600. So open 1600. Okay, so I'm just opening all my accounts. Then I'm going to go to the list and open my lists as well. So S. Tyler gets 80,000. So let's start 80,000. The next person, 74,800. So I'm just going to write all of these in. And then this person, 18,900. And then this person, 66,730. And then this person has a credit balance. So P. Lope has a credit balance, so negative 1,800. And then the next person is this. And my last person is 18,000. Okay, so there I opened all the balances. And I'm going to read my adjustments. So my adjustments, number 1 over here says, the debtors control balance on the 1st of June has been overstated by 6,700. So overstated means too much. So the balance in the debtors control account was too much by 6,700. So I'm going to go here to the balance at the beginning and take that 6,700 out. Okay, of course, you're going to write neatly, not like me. And yeah, I'm going to leave it like that for now. So we are done with adjustment number 1. Next, I'm going to do adjustment number 2. So adjustment number 2 says, the total of the debtors allowance column in the debtors allowance journal was undercost by 360 Rand. So I'm going to go to debtors allowance journal. So there's debtors allowance journal. And because it was undercost, I'm going to go add. So here you just add the 360. And it's only the journal. It's not an individual account. So I'm not touching the list. Okay, next, we have a credit invoice. So an invoice for merchandise that we sold to M. Ahmed. And this has not been recorded. Okay, so an invoice has not been recorded by the bookkeeper. The cost price of the merchandise was 3,700. So remember, when we sell goods, we sell it using the selling price. So let's quickly just first work out what is the selling price over here. So to work out the selling price, let's write here, my selling price is my cost price. So this is the cost price times 1 comma the markup percentage. So our markup percentage here is 40%. So I'm just going to say 3,700 times 1 comma 40. And I get that answer to be 5,180. So this is the selling price, eh? So an invoice was left out. It means it was left out in the control account and in the list, eh? So let's go to my little note. Okay, so let's go to this note, eh? So if an invoice was left out, we must go add it back, eh? So when an invoice is left out, we add that. So an invoice would go to sales over here by the DJ, eh? So the debtors journal, I'm going to add 5. Oh, I don't have space. Okay, I'm going to add 5,180. Okay, and then to the list M Ahmed, I'm going to add 5,180. Okay, so if an invoice is left out, you add that amount, eh? Next adjustment says transfer the credit balance in the debtors ledger of P. Klope. So it's a credit balance in the debtors ledger of P. Klope to his account in the creditors ledger. If he is a debtor, this is a plus and this is a minus. And if he is a creditor, this is a minus, that is a plus. There is the credit balance, 1,800. In the debtors ledger. So in the debtors ledger, he has a credit balance. So it's on this side. So this side is credit and this side is debit. So his balance is on that side at the moment. So I'm going to change color to show what I'm going to do. So to transfer this to this account, you must first cancel it. So I'm going to go this side and say 1,800. There it's cancelled. This and this will cancel. Then from here, I'm going to now take it to the credit ledger. So when you take it to the credit ledger, you see it's a plus here. You will take it to the plus over the plus side of the creditors ledger, which is on that side. So now I cancelled it and I wrote it where it must be. So what did I do now? There's a plus and there's a plus. So I'm going to go So what did I do in terms of the debtors ledger? Because I'm not busy with creditors, eh? I'm busy only with debtors ledger. The only thing I did, I added the 1,800. So I just cancelled the credit balance, eh? So I'm going to go to P. Klope's account. And I'm now just going to add 1,800. Can you see that's now 0? A negative 1,800 plus a positive 1,800 is 0. So I cancel that. We are not doing the creditors ledger, so I don't have to show this. But remember, the mistake is now in both the control account and in the list. Eh? So by the control account, I'm going to go to journal debits. And I'm going to do this part. I'm going to go add this 1,800. So here I'm going to add 1,800. To show that I cancelled something, eh? So that is journal debits. So that's a transfer. Okay, next adjustment. So an amount of 400 Rand received from G. Kriegler via EFT. So we received an amount. Was recorded in the journal. Okay, so it is in the debtors control account, but it wasn't transferred to his account. So he paid us. Okay, it's a debtor. He paid us. So we received a payment. So when you receive a payment, let's go up to our list over here. So when you receive a payment, now we're receiving if it's left out, we must go minus that amount. So it will make his account less. So okay, let's go look for his name. So there it is. So to his account, I'm just going to minus, what's the amount? 400 Rand. Okay, so that's now out. So next, a receipt issued by S. Tyler for 19,800, cash received was recorded correctly. So we issued a receipt. It means he paid us. Okay, so this was correctly recorded in the journal, but it was posted to her account as 18,900. The mistake was in the list. So let's write down. The amount was supposed to be 9,800, but we recorded this amount as 18,900. So if you look at the two amounts, we recorded too little. Okay, and this was a receipt. A receipt is the same as a payment, because a payment to them is a receipt to us. Okay, so we entered too little. Now let's look at the difference. When it's too little or too much, you always work out the difference. So the difference in this case is 900 Rand. That's the difference. Now we need to figure out. The mistake was not in the journal, only in the list. Are we going to add the 900 or are we going to subtract the 900? So let's go to our list here that I made for you, the little table. Remember, payments are like receipts, So payments. Let's see, we entered too little. So we are going to subtract even further. So a payment is always the opposite of what you think. You would think that you entered too little, you must go add more money. But no, you must do the opposite. You must go subtract. So I'm going to go to this account and say minus 900. My next adjustment says an entry in respect of goods sold on credit. So goods sold on credit, that's an invoice, to T. Macau to the value of 3,000 was correctly entered into the debtors journal. So the mistake is not in the control account, but was entered on the wrong side of his account. So the mistake was in the list. Okay? So now let's go see. So he is a debtor. So this is a plus and that is a minus. Okay, we sold goods to him. So when you sell goods on credit, that amount goes to the plus side because it means my debtor owes me more money. Okay? But now we recorded this on the wrong side. So if this is the right side, then this is the wrong side. So we recorded the amount, the 3,000 on that side. This is what we have done. We have to correct this, So how do you correct it? You first cancel it. When you have to correct something, you do two things. So the first thing, first take this 3,000 that side. So you cancel it. So plus 3,000, okay? Then you record it as it should be. So it should have been 3,000 on this side. So what did I do now? I added 3,000 and then I added 3,000 again. So that's twice. So I'm going to go to his account and I'm going to say plus 3,000 plus 3,000. The first 3,000 was to cancel. The second 3,000 was to write it in where it should be. And that is how you correct that adjustment. Okay, second last adjustment over here says a payment of 12,000 received. So can you see payments with the debtors reconciliation is something you receive. Okay, so a payment of 12,000 was received from Y. Putin and it was correctly recorded in the journal. Okay, again, the mistake is not in the control account. The mistake was in the list. It was incorrectly recorded in the account of R. Dyer. Okay, so the amount wasn't wrong. It was in the wrong account. So it was a payment. So when you receive money, it makes your account less. It makes, we can say that the debtor owes us less money. Now, it was supposed to be minus 12,000, which is right, but now we placed it by the wrong person. So we placed this negative 12,000 by R. Dyer. So I must go to R. Dyer and I must cancel this receipt. So let's go to my table. So when you go to the table, do you see payments over here? If you have to cancel a payment, you add the amount. So a payment is normally a minus. So it makes sense that you must now add it back. So I'm going to go to R. Dyer, where's his account? And I'm going to add the 12,000 back. That's how I cancel it. And then I'm going to go to Putin's account. And I'm going to put in the payment or the receipt. So that we received, so the payment we received is, it makes his account less. When a payment is left out, it's a minus. So by Y Putin, we are not cancelling it. We are actually just putting it in because it was left out. So minus 12,000. And then our last adjustment says J. Philip, whose account was 3 months in arrears, which means he didn't pay us for 3 months. We charged his account with interest of 5% per annum. So let's first work out the amount. Let's see how much money does he owe us. So if you look here, J. Phillips owes us 7,200. So 7,200 times 5% interest, and it was for 3 months. So for months, we say 3 over 12 because there's 12 months in a year. So we work this out. I get 90 Rand. Okay, so let's go. A debtor, he is a debtor, a plus and a minus. If I charge my debtor interest, my question is, does my debtor owe me more money or less money? He owes me more money, so it's on this side, So the 90 Rand will go on this side of his account. But remember, this was totally left out. So the mistake is in both the list and the control account. So in the list, I go to J. Philip and I add the 90 Rand interest that he owes me. And then this was a debit. So I'm going to go to journal debits. So interest goes to journal debits. And I'm still going to add here. So I closed the bracket, but it wasn't supposed to be closed. So plus 90 over there to show that, that I'm adding the interest there that he owes us. And that's all the adjustments you have. And now we're going to total and see if our control account balances with the same balance as our list. So let's fill in our missing amounts. Now let's add up all the brackets and total. Okay, so let's total. For my balance, I get, okay, let me close here. Okay, so this is better. For my balance, if you total that balance, I get 209. So 209. So for my balance, I get 209, 510. Then for my sales, I get 316, 100. Then for my bank and refund, that stayed the same, so nothing happened there. And then for my journal debits, I get 3,710. Okay, and then for bank and discount allowed, that stayed the same. So this still is 124,380. And then for debtors allowance, with that adjustment, I get 55,940. And then journal credit stayed the same, 1,600. Okay, so there we totaled. Now we have to check where is our biggest side. So what you do is you add up all these totals, and then you add up all these totals, and then you look which one is bigger. So we work that out, and now we're going to balance the account. So the bigger side is this one over here. That's the bigger side. And that amount over there is 529,920. So you write it on both sides. And then you say this minus this, minus this, minus that, because that wasn't the bigger side. And you get that answer to be, let's use another color. You get that to be 348,000. Okay. And then you bring it down. So you bring that balance down. I just don't have space, but yeah, you will write it here, the first of the next month. So that is July. And you write balance. And this balance is 348,000. Okay, and it should look something like that. Then let's total our list. So let's go. So for S. Tyler, if you total, so all of these must be on the debit side now, So this is all on the debit side because the balances all stay positive. This is all debit, okay? So there's credit. I'm just going to extend my table because I don't have space. So this is debit and that's credit. This answer is a positive answer, so it stays debit. The next one is also positive, so it stays debit. This one stays debit, 72,000. 24,080 stays debit, 78,730. This one gave us now 0, okay? Then we have 7290 positive, it stays debit, 24,000 stays debit. And then you add up all these amounts, eh? So you add them all up. And if you add them all up, you will also get 348,000. And there it balanced. And there you did the debtors control account and the list. Next question, explain the following terms. Credit term and credit limit. Term is like time. How long do you have? A credit term is the amount of time. So we're going to say it's the amount of time a debtor has, or is a debtor has to pay off his or her account. Okay, that's the credit term. Your limit is the maximum amount of money. So it's like a limit is a maximum. It's a maximum amount. Is the maximum amount that a debtor is allowed. A debtor is allowed to buy on credit. So the maximum amount a debtor is allowed to buy on credit. So he can't exceed that. That is his limit. Okay, so that's for 4 marks. Then 1.4 says a total discount of 6,210 was allowed to debtors. Okay, calculate the actual amount that was received in June. If the discount was this amount, let's go look. Here it says bank and discount allowed. So this was bank and discount allowed for 124,380. So now we just take away the discount. 9. And this is how much money we received from our debtors. I get 118,161. And that's how you answer that question. Okay, next question is 1.5. The percentage of returns by debtors is 17%. Okay, provide 2 control measures that can be implemented to reduce returns. Okay, so the percentage returns is 70%. So 17%. So when they buy from us, 17% of that they return. So now they're asking what control measures can we put into place so that it's not so much. So let's go. So why would people return goods? Maybe because the quality isn't good. So number 1. So we have to give 2 control measures. So the quality of the goods might be a problem. So we can say might be a problem. So remember, we buy our goods from a supplier. So check alternative suppliers. So check other suppliers. So that would be one reason. Number 2, or one control measure, we can do follow-ups. So we can follow up on orders by customers. So we can get feedback after they buy a product. And based on the feedback, we can then implement whatever they find fault. We can correct that so that they don't return goods. Let's look at the last question for 6 marks. In 3 points, so this is 3 points, advise the owner on how to improve collection from debtors. So how can you make sure that your debtors pay you on time or improve the collection rate? Okay, so you can charge interest. So we charge interest on overdue accounts. Number 2, we can send reminders. So you can send a statement, like when you pay your school fees. So send a statement, or like an SMS or any other reminders to pay, because sometimes customers forget. And then number 3, we can give them a discount. We can offer a discount for early payment. So if you pay early, we can give you a discount. That will make sure that our customers will pay us on time. So there you go. We've answered all the questions, and this question was for 63 marks.